Hello, this is Rafe from Reach Me Faster. We are a digital marketing agency specializing in Google Adwords and Facebook ads for local businesses. Now, in this video, I'd like to discuss Google Adwords for dentists, do-it-yourself guide, because recently there was a thread on Dental Town. Somebody posted a question asking dentists who manage their own AdWords account for some tips. So I replied and said, if there's enough interest, I may do a quick video series around Google AdWords. And so looking back at the thread, there were several replies, a lot of interest in learning Google AdWords and learning to manage Google AdWords. So here I am with this presentation. And in this presentation, we're going to pretty much cover everything related to Google AdWords for dentists, starting with the quick overview, then campaign setup, which is basically using Google AdWords best practices to generate maximum number of clicks within your monthly budget, and then post-click optimization, which is essentially talking about converting the clicks that you drive through your campaign into calls and leads, and then campaign management, which is about maintaining that performance and improving upon your results over time. So obviously we can't cover everything in one video. So let's start with the overview. So overview is just a basic introduction to Google AdWords, why advertise on Google, the AdWords ecosystem, which is important to learn why Google AdWords works and how you can take advantage of this platform. And then of course, is Google AdWords right for you? And then finally, can you manage it yourself? So let's start with the big question, why advertise on Google? Well, Google is right now the largest search engine, and as far as local marketing goes, it is the new Yellow Pages, essentially, because everything now is mobile, everything is now digital. So anybody looking for a dentist, looking for a lawyer, looking for a plumber, looking for any type of local business, restaurant, repair services, they're using their mobile phone and they're heading over to Google or Google Maps to find a business near them. And that represents a great opportunity for any local business like a dental office who serve within a 15-20 mile radius. And for them, it's a huge opportunity to get in front of people that are searching for the services they provide. So dentists will show their ad on searches related to dentistry and dental problems and dental procedures. The other benefit specifically for dentists is that the cost per click of dental keywords right now is quite low compared to other verticals. And for that, I'd like to illustrate this with a quick example. So I'm using the keyword planner tool, which is provided by Google AdWords free of charge. So you can simply search keyword planner on Google and select keyword planner, this first result, and you should get to this page if you have an AdWords account. And so let's quickly look at why or how much value there is in advertising for dentists advertising on Google compared to, for instance, a lawyer, a plumber, a locksmith, some of the other verticals. So let me first select the entire country, United States, and let's select a city. Let's say San Jose, or maybe, okay, let's do San Jose. And so dentist, and there is let's say DUI lawyer, and locksmith, then plumber, and let's also put AC repair. And maybe even one more business that we could put, local business, would be, okay, let's try this first just to give you a quick comparison. And so I have selected United States and already put some negative keywords. These are some general negative keywords which apply to any AdWords campaign. I always have them in place in my keyword tool. Anyway, so this would basically provide us the cost per click or estimated or suggested bid that other businesses are paying on to Google to advertise on the platform. So as you can see, Dentist San Jose is just $12.35 per click. Plumber is paying $27 per click. A locksmith is paying $21 per click. And DUI lawyer is paying $70 per click. This is per click price. This is suggested bid, meaning that what other advertisers, based on what other advertisers are bidding on these keywords, Google is suggesting that you should bid this amount. And this is the average monthly searches, which is simply an average of the last 12 months, the search volume that appeared, the number of searches that were performed on Google. This is just the average of the last 12 months. Now clearly you can see that a dentist, definitely an average dentist in San Jose, is going to make more than a plumber, more than a locksmith, more than an AC repair shop, and certainly, or maybe more, or I guess comparable to a DUI lawyer, depends upon the lawyer. But really, the cost is just so less, almost half of, or less, almost half of a locksmith, and then less than half of a plumber is paying. And I'm sure they don't give the price of AC repair, but let me see if you can find AC repair with HVAC San Jose. So that 12.83, so comparable to an HVAC repair shop. But clearly the value, I just wanted to demonstrate why it makes sense advertising on Google for a dentist in San Jose. If you're not advertising, well, then you're missing out, because clearly a plumber that is advertising is making money. That is why they're able to bid $27, and similarly locksmith is making money. That is why they're able to bid $21. And so a dentist, well, if you can't bid even $12, well, then you need to look at your priorities, because if I'm a dentist in San Jose and there are 880 people on average searching for dentist in San Jose, at $12 per click, it's like almost minting money. Anyway, so going back to the presentation, the next reason to advertise on Google is to simply dominate your local market. So maybe you're already ranking on organic search, maybe you are already ranking in local search, but you still want to kick out some of your competitors from the first page of Google, so you can advertise. Now remember that on a page there are basically 7 ads, 4 at the top, then there is 3 local map listings, and then there is your 3 organic listings, 10, and then 3 ads. So it's really at the top half of the page where most of the action is taking place, and so you can eliminate or remove one of your competitors if you advertise on Google, and thus have more than one listing, possibly 3 or 4 even listings on the first page of Google. If you create 2 AdWords accounts, maybe you have 2 offices in the same city, maybe you have 3 offices in the same city, you can create 3 accounts, because there are 3 different locations, and you advertise in the same city, yes, but there are 3 different locations. And so you can advertise them separately, you can advertise them under the same ad, but you can also use 3 different AdWords accounts to get 3 listings up there. And you can also have an SEO listing in the organic search results, and you can also have a map listing. So that is how you basically crush your competition, make sure that they are not appearing on the first page of Google. And you can do that with Google AdWords. And then the fourth point is for startups especially, and that is SEO is dead. And I say that with full conviction. I don't care what any of the other marketing companies say, but this is something that I've been saying for the last 12 months. And the reason is simple. Google wants to make more money or continue to make more money. And display network is where Facebook is basically dominating. So search is their main play. And you will see over the next 12 months, 18 months, you will see Google pushing everything on the search network side. They're going to try to monetize the maps traffic. They're going to try a lot of things to maximize the number of clicks that are coming from the search network. And for starters especially, SEO has become so slow and so difficult and costly that it makes more sense paying $1,500 to Google to get new patients instead of paying $1,500 to an SEO company for, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months, maybe even 2 years just to get on the first page. And by that time, I guess, if you were paying, let's say, for example, $1,500 a month to an SEO company for 12 months and they get you to the first page for some keywords, well, during that time, if you were paying Google $1,500, you could have gotten 10, 12 patients every month. That's about 100, 150 patients by the end of the year in your practice. Whereas for the SEO company, you have to wait 12 months until you start getting some traction, some new patients for all that investment. So for startups, I mean, certainly if you are in a large metropolitan area, if you are in one of the major cities, like Chicago, like Houston, there is no chance, absolutely no chance for a new startup dentist to get onto the first page of Google in 12 months. Absolutely no chance. And it is going to get even more difficult going forward because Google is focusing on brands, people or businesses that are established. They will continue to dominate in the future. And the days of sort of building your practice or building your business by ranking on Google are over. You have to have some basically established years before Google will start to reward you with first page rankings. And then last but not least, obviously with advertising, the question is whether it works. And of course, Google Adwords works. It works fast. You can get a campaign up quickly and you can get results in very quickly. And it works consistently. So the performance is fairly consistent. It's predictable. You can plan ahead. So you can allocate a budget and then you can expect a certain number of new patients coming in, a certain volume of production coming in the future. You can forecast this, unlike some of the other advertising campaigns you may have done where the return is a little bit hit and miss. The performance can go up and down, but Google AdWords is fairly consistent. You can predict and basically forecast your revenue pretty much 12 months ahead. So that can obviously help you plan your budgets, plan if you want to open a new office, maybe new location, if you want to hire new staff, you can plan ahead. Then let's say if you have decided you want to advertise on Google, well, it's a good idea to then first understand how the AdWords ecosystem works and why this platform, I believe, is one of the most unique advertising marketplaces in the world and history of mankind possibly. Because if you ask a normal person, if you ask anybody whether they want to see ads, they will say no. Nobody wants to see ads. However, when you're searching for something on Google, you want to see ads. And this basically makes Google AdWords, the system, entire system work. So Google is the company, they have the costs to bear to basically run the whole system. They want to get revenue, so they want to maximize the number of clicks on the ads without hurting user experience, because the user is clicking the ad, so they are generating money for them. And they want the user to keep coming back to Google. So every time somebody wants something, a local business, or they want some information, Google wants them to choose Google search. And so they do not want to hurt user experience. At the same time, they want to maximize the number of clicks on the ads because that's how they make money, and they can pay their employees, and then they can basically show performance to their shareholders. And Google makes around 25 billion revenue per quarter. Most of that comes from ads. About 22 billion comes from ads per quarter. So they want to continue that and grow that over time, obviously. So they cannot afford to hurt user experience. And therefore, it's important for them to show relevant ads, useful ads, legitimate businesses, and so that users are satisfied, they're finding relevant information in the ads, and they continue to click on the ads. This is the key. So the consumer, the patient, he just wants to find a good dentist. So he is not concerned about whether it's an ad, whether it's an organic listing, whether it's a map. He wants to find the best dentist in his budget, near them, near his office, near his home, whatever, for his family. And that's their main concern. So when they're on Google, when they're searching for a dentist, they want the best dentist in their budget that is near them, that is open and has suitable hours. They can make an appointment and everything. So there is some confusion where people say that consumers don't like to click ads, or they prefer to click maps or organic. No, there's no such thing. From my experience, the top ad can receive 6 to 10% CTR easily if the offer is correct and the keyword is good. So people like to click ads, particularly if there's some good offer. Definitely patients respond to it, searchers respond to it. So absolutely no issue for the patient. And if you look at it from your point of view, if you're looking to buy a laptop, for example, you want to see the deals, the best deals, what is available, what is HP offering, what is Apple offering, what is Dell offering. So we want to see all those ads and then make a knowledgeable decision based on all that information, based on the ads, based on the shopping ads, based on the organic listings. Then you decide. And that is the same for the consumer. They want to see the best dentists that are near them, offering any new patient discounts or what services they're offering. They want to learn and then decide. And so for them, the advertisement is useful. And then, of course, the advertiser, which is the third party involved in this whole process, that is the dentist, that is you want to get maximum number of new patients at the lowest possible cost. And therefore, you have to provide useful ads so that consumers click on your ads, and then you can hopefully close them once they call or submit a form. And Google has incentivized this user experience, that if you create more useful ads, if you create ads that get high click-through rate, then they will reward you with a higher ad position and a lower cost per click, because that is good for the consumer. It's good for Google as well, because they get more clicks. So the Google only gets paid when somebody clicks the ad. They want maximum number of clicks, and so they reward advertisers that create ads which attract clicks, maximum number of clicks, and good user experience, because they want the user to keep coming back to Google and click on more ads further, in the future, next week, next month, next years. And so this ecosystem works because of relevance, because of user experience. And there's no other advertising marketplace I know of where this kind of reconciliation of interests is available. So all three parties involved, their interests meet when a consumer clicks the ad. Nowhere else is that consistent. If you look at display advertising, nobody wants to see ads. People install ad blockers. Similarly, Facebook, they're also, you can see, they are having to introduce new formats, new ways to get people to click ads, because people develop ad blindness. They don't want to see ads. That's why they develop. If they wanted to see ads, well, why would the click-through should go up? But no, it's always coming down. Whereas on Google, the click-through rate is always going up. Year after year after year, the click-through rate is always improving. Obviously, Google also introduces new formats, ad extensions, and things like that. But those are geared towards making the ad more useful for the searcher. So once you understand this, this is important to understand for a new advertiser, because you can then create ads that are useful, ads that will generate clicks, ads that will make both the consumer and Google happy, so that you can continue to advertise on Google and pay a lower price than your competitors. Now, the question then is, of course, let's say you are ready to advertise on Google, you understand the AdWords ecosystem, you understand the value of the marketplace, then the question arises, is it right for you? And that is the million-dollar question. Now, I say that's a million-dollar question because if Google AdWords is right for you, it will make you $1 million in your practice. No doubt about it. I've done it for several businesses. I've done it for dentists as well. And if you're in the right location, if you have good search volume, if you have good budget, if you have good online reviews, if your front desk can close, if you have good margin, a decent margin in your practice, there is no way that you cannot make $1 million from Google AdWords within a few years, within 1 year, if you are in the right, if you have these things in place. So let's quickly look at each one of these. Is Google AdWords right for you? The first thing is obviously the search volume, whether people in your area are searching or not. So clearly San Jose, there's no problem with search volume. There is 880 people searching for dentist San Jose, and then obviously there's procedures, dental implants and things like that. There's no volume. But I'd like to quickly go over this, demonstrate this with an example. So I had 2 inquiries for Google AdWords related. One was Orangetownsmiles.com. This is dentist name is Jordan Leeward, and his office is located in Orangeburg, New York. And so if you look at, for example, let me look at the volume for dental related keywords in Orangeburg, and you will understand why Google AdWords is not right for everyone. So you can see that the search volume, average monthly search is only 10 for the keyword dentist Orangeburg, and for the keyword Orangeburg dentist is only 70. So either way, it's not much. It's not even over 100 searches per month. So clearly, advertising or showing your ad to searchers in Orangeburg is not going to generate enough traffic, and if it's not going to generate enough traffic, you will never going to get enough patients. So the problem for Orangetown Smiles is that there's not enough people in and around Orangeburg searching for dentists or dental related services, procedures. And therefore, it does not make any sense for them to pay a company or waste time on Google AdWords. They should try some other forms of advertising, because search advertising, even SEO, is not going to bring them, is not going to give them good number of patients. Maybe 5-6 patients maximum. That's it from SEO. From AdWords, maybe 1-2, depending upon how many clicks they are able to generate, because there's not enough search volume. On the other hand, this is Precision Dentistry. They also are interested in advertising on Google, and so they're in Columbia, Maryland. So let's quickly take a look at what kind of search volume is available for dental related procedures in Columbia MD. And yes, so we can see here dentist Columbia MD 480, 390, 170. And then this is another city, but definitely you can see there is significant search volume. And although it's not as high as San Jose, obviously San Jose is a big city, but there is interest in dental related services and interest and searches on Google. That's important. So if there are people searching on Google, then you can advertise and get some clicks, and then convert those clicks into leads and appointments. And so that search volume is available in this case for Precision Dentistry. Makes sense to advertise on Google. For Orangetown Smiles, it does not make any sense to advertise on Google. They should try some other forms of marketing. So after the search volume, obviously the next thing you need to look at is, do you have a budget? So that's important, because without spending money, you will not be making money. So you need to spend some monthly amount. You need to dedicate, let's say 1,000, 1,200, whatever, maybe even 500, 600. You can start with $20 a day, depending upon how many days you're open. Maybe if you're open 3 days a week, even $600 would be enough to get some new patients. If you're open, let's say 6 days a week, then obviously you need to expand. If you're spending, let's say $20 per day, then 6 days, you'll have about 24 days. So accordingly, about 800, 900 minimum you will need to get some consistent number of clicks, and then drive some calls, which hopefully close into new appointments. So it depends upon how long you want to advertise, what is your budget, but you should have a minimum budget, because you need enough clicks for the conversion rate to kick in, to come into effect. Let's say for example, if you need 20 clicks to close one appointment, then if you pause your campaign before 20 clicks, or maybe even after 30-40 clicks, then you may lose the opportunity for getting some patients, because you stopped the campaign too early. You need to run the campaign for at least 100, 200 clicks. That will give you some conclusive results, because maybe the first 40 clicks you did not get any new patient, but the 45th and 46th and 47th click could result in 3 new patients. You don't know. So you need to have enough clicks. You need to generate enough clicks for the conversion rate to come into effect. Now the third thing to pay attention is online reputation. It's important that you have some positive reviews on the first page, at least, for if somebody searches for your name, for your practice name, or for your dentist's name. And that's important because especially for Google Adwords, but generally any type of advertising, because people look up online reviews and they want to see some good stuff. They don't want to read some bad stuff, because they have too many options, so they'll just move on to the next one. That's the thing. So make sure that before you start an AdWords campaign, that your reviews are respectable, that you have some positive reviews, and any negative reviews are addressed. And just make sure that you have good ratings on these Yelp and Google and Facebook and other third-party review sites. The fourth factor you need to consider is, of course, are you able to close? And it's written, can your front desk close this? That's true, but you must also be able to look at, can you close the clicks? Because Google is selling you clicks. You first have to close the clicks into calls or form submissions, and then your front desk has to close those calls into new patient appointments. So both ways, you need to make sure that you are ready, that your website or landing page is good for conversion, and that your front desk can close, because unless obviously you could close, it doesn't make any sense to advertise. So you must make sure that your house is in order before spending 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 on AdWords. And then last is something that you need to consider, is the profit margin. What is the profit margin in various procedures? And just make sure that you advertise procedures that have high profit margin, because you'll be paying per click. So you don't want to waste money on promoting low margin stuff and then end up basically losing money every month, and just basically hoping that the repeat visits would get you high profit, raise the lifetime value of your patient so high that you can make money after 3-4 years. Well, nobody has time to wait 3-4 years. You need to make money right away. You need cash flow. So you need to make sure that the patients generated by the campaign are covering the cost of the campaign and also generating some profit, so that you can grow your budget next month, or after 2 months, 3 months, you can grow your budget and then continue to grow your patient base. If you're just waiting 12 months for the repeat visits and then to get you enough revenue so that you can invest, well, then you'll be waiting forever. So try to focus on procedures that have high enough profit margin that you can pay for the clicks and then have some profit left over to invest in future months advertising. So let's say you have good search volume in your city, you have a budget to spend, you have good online reviews, and your front desk is trained, and you have profit margin, high profit margin, your practice is in good shape, then the question is, can you do it yourself? Because that's what the thread was all about. Can you manage your own AdWords campaign? And the answer is yes, you can. As long as you set up your campaign and tracking correctly, you should make a positive ROI. After that, you will just need to basically monitor your campaign and invest at least 1 hour per week to go into your AdWords account, look up some reports, and I will explain what reports that you can run to find what information, and then use that information to make changes, optimize your campaign, change your ads, change your keywords, change your bids, adjust your bids, adjust your budgets, adjust your targeting and devices and other options. And it will take at most 1 hour per week. It depends on how big your account is. If you are spending, let's say, $1,000, $2,000 a month, that should not take more than 1 hour per week. But if you're spending $10,000, $20,000, obviously it's going to take at least 2-3 hours to go through all the different campaigns and data for the last week or last month, last 14 days, and then make decisions based on that. So this weekly amount varies, but depending upon how much you're spending, how much traffic you're generating, and then obviously how much work you need to make those changes. Now, the last one is obviously you need to invest some time on your education, because Google is always updating, is always introducing new formats, new ways to generate more clicks for them, and obviously for advertisers to get more traffic. And so if you just invest 1 hour per month reading some of these blogs for Google AdWords and keeping yourself up to date with the AdWords official blog and announcements that they're making, new formats, new ad extensions, you should be able to keep yourself up to date with the latest information. And for a dentist, mostly it's not you don't have to keep up to date with everything. It's just mostly related to local business stuff, because dentists, you don't need any information about e-commerce or anything. You mostly need information related to local search, mobile, and basically stuff related to local businesses. Now, so if you can fulfill this criteria, then yes, you can do it yourself, no problem. If you can set this up, campaign and tracking correctly, which I will teach you in the next video, then you can basically dedicate 1 hour per week and 1 hour per month for education, then you should be fine. Now, the final slide is basically some recommended reading. If you are really interested in basically learning Google AdWords, then you should buy this book. It's called Advanced AdWords by Brad Geddes. I read this book about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it still is the best book on Google AdWords. But it's better than any course. It's better than certainly any free information. So you should definitely buy this book, Advanced AdWords by Brad Geddes. And then if you want to just get a quick understanding of how Google AdWords auction works, you should watch these videos by Helvarian. He is the chief economist of Google, the guy who invented this whole quality score system, which makes Google really the best advertising marketplace in the history of mankind. And then of course the same guy also has a tutorial on bidding. This tutorial talks about e-commerce, but it's useful. It is useful for anyone who wants to understand maximizing profit, and then what should be the maximum bid to maximize the number of leads. In the case of a dentist, maximize the number of calls. What should be the maximum bid for any particular group, ad group, keyword. So you should watch this video as well. I'll link to these videos in the post below, and so you can access them. So I hope you found this presentation useful. I would like to get some feedback, and if there is significant interest, I can then create a second video about setting up a campaign for a general dentist first, and it all depends on the feedback, because it takes time to prepare. So let's see, if there is enough interest, I will create a second video about setting up a Google AdWords campaign for dentists. That is for me. Goodbye for now.